Before we jump into the episode today, I want to share something with you from my heart. First of all, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really can't tell you how much your support means to me. We've been doing the podcast now for almost 4 years. I can't even believe it. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you that listens, shares an episode with your friends, sends me a DM or a text message letting me know how an episode resonated with you or any aha moments. Seriously, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to create this podcast. It has been such a blessing in my life, and I love hearing the ways it's been able to provide value in yours as well. One thing you might not know is how much work it takes to be consistent with a podcast. In fact, did you know that the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode number 10? And we are well beyond that. And it's just a lot thinking of the episodes, recording them, editing them, managing the guests, making sure that everything runs smoothly and gets uploaded consistently and regularly. And so that's why I have created an amazing opportunity for you to support the podcast monetarily. And in exchange for that, you will get exclusive premium subscriber content. So for as little as $3 a month, you can become a premium subscriber of the podcast. And every month I will upload new voice-guided workouts and breathwork meditation audio for you. So that way you can work out with me, coaching you in your ears. You can also take a moment to reduce your stress and relax and come down and ground down with one of my breathwork audios. So if that is on your heart to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month to become a premium podcast subscriber, I can't tell you how much that means to me and the growth of this podcast. I appreciate you. If you're interested, click the link in the description, become a premium podcast subscriber, new content every month, and while supplies last, I'll send you an exclusive podcast coffee mug so you can have your self-love and sweat coffee every morning. I appreciate you. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, the place where you'll get inspired to live your life unapologetically, embrace your perfect imperfections, break down barriers, and do what sets your soul on fire. I'm your host, Lunden Souza. Hey, have you grabbed your free Self-Love and Sweat monthly calendar yet? This calendar is so amazing. It comes right in your inbox every single month to help you have a little nugget of wisdom, a sweaty workout, a mindset activity, just a little something to help keep you focused and motivated and keep that momentum towards your goals. So every day when you get this calendar, you'll see a link that you can click that will lead to a podcast episode or a workout or something that will be very powerful and quick to read. And then you'll also see on the top left corner of every single day, there's a little checkbox in the calendar. And what that is that's for your one thing. You can choose one thing every month, or it can be the same, something that you want to implement, and make this something that you can easily implement, like daily meditation or getting a certain amount of steps or water, for example, and staying hydrated, and even taking your supplements. This can be something if you want to get more regular doing a particular habit and routine, you can choose what that checkbox means. So if you want your Self-Love and Sweat free monthly calendar delivered right to your inbox every month on the first of the month, go to lifelikeLondon.com/calendar, fill out the form really quickly, and you will have your calendar in your inbox within a few short minutes. That's lifelikeLondon, lifelikeLondon.com/calendar. Go get yours for free and enjoy this episode. Hey, welcome to this episode. This one's not going to be really long, but I think you're going to find it super valuable and be thinking about it for the rest of the day. I love the power of words. I love our ability and possibility, opportunity to reframe at any time using our words. And I think that we have a lot of words and phrases and patterns in our speech that are just kind of ingrained in the English language that we just say, that just roll off the tongue, that we don't quite think about. And that's kind of what I want to shed light on today. And I want to give you guys some opportunities to look at the words that you use, and then also give you like other words to replace it and substitute. So the first word is the first word actually that I started when maybe you guys have heard me talk about change your words, change your world before. That's really what we're talking about today. But where I started was with the word busy, busy. And I switched from busy to full, abundant. And that was because I was always using busy as a excuse, like as an excuse or a badge of honor. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't call you back or return your text message. I'm just so busy and my calendar's so busy and all these things. And I remember being at a point where I didn't want to be busy anymore. And I was like ready to connect in a different way that wasn't so busy. And somebody said something to me. It was a person who I really, love. And she's a cool friend of mine and whatever. And she was like, yeah, I know you're super busy, but da 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 da. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, oh yeah, I come off as this really busy person. I don't really want to be that way. And I especially don't want to be giving off the vibe that I'm too busy for, especially like my friends or people that I don't want to be too busy for, right? So I remember being like, okay, if you don't want to be busy, what do you want to be? And so I started just saying like, yeah, my day's really full. My schedule is really full. I had a very abundant day. And sometimes I have to laugh because the fullness and the abundance was challenging, right? And it's like, today was a full day. But in my body, the way that I feel when I say full or abundant instead of busy is just so much better. It's so much more empowering. It's a great feeling. I feel way better than when I'm all over the place in this busy space, right? So that's the first one. Maybe you want to swap busy for something like full or abundant. The other one actually came from the lady that I live with. She went to, like a spa or somewhere and did a session, and the lady and her were talking about word reframes and things like that. And they talked about the word stressed and using the word challenged instead, which I think is so awesome, especially depending on your internal representation of a challenge. I personally like to go after challenges. I feel like challenges are motivating. And so instead of being like, okay, today is full of stressful things, I'm going to be so stressed. It's like today is an opportunity to be challenged. Today I'm going to be challenged. And when she shared that with me, I was like, oh, that's really good. I really like that. And I have been thinking about it and using it as well, especially in my internal dialogue, right? It's not always what we say out loud, but it's also in my head, like, oh, today's so stressful, da 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 da. Like, what are we saying in our heads and putting that on repeat as well? I feel like that's something to, to mention and to bring to the table there. The other one is makes me. That makes me, you make me, she makes me. That makes me angry. She makes me frustrated, and then I can't do my job, and then my whole day is ruined. That makes me so sad. I think that we're giving so much of our power away when we allow ourselves to be made to feel certain types of way based on other people's behaviors, actions, etc. And so the way I like to say it is, this happened and I felt. It's like, she made me angry. No. I went into the office and my coworker was there with like a long list of to-dos for me, and it was 7:45 and I hadn't had my coffee. And so then after that, I felt feelings of like anger and frustration and dishevelment because I hadn't had my coffee and I was going to, lose it because I needed my fuel, right? Or whatever it might be. It's like sometimes we're just so easy to fly off the handle and just let the words blah, 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 blah. That makes me, she makes me, all the things make me, right? And so I feel like that's a really powerful reframe as well, just to think about and to listen to as well. So when you say it yourself, you'll also start to notice it in others. Now, this isn't a free for all to tell someone, you shouldn't say that you're busy. You should say full or abundant. It's just like you say it and other people are like, wait, I noticed that you say full. And sometimes it's funny because people, my clients or friends and stuff will say busy in front of me. And then they'll be like, oh, wait, not busy, full, because just kind of like my existence and saying that regularly, they're like triggered by it when I'm around them, in a good way, not like triggered, but like it's, it opens the possibility for them to use some of my words too. And so I think it's great. And I think it's great to choose one at a time. So maybe one of them especially spoke to you today, and whichever one that was, start there. And it's also a lifelong, I would say, journey, right? I still have moments where I mess up. I still have moments, not where I mess up, but I still have moments where I could use my words better and have more opportunity for growth and expansion with my words instead of just like limiting, And I know that we can just kind of get in the flow of life and forget to think about what we're thinking about or think about what words are coming out of our mouths. And so that's why I think little baby steps are a great place to start. And so maybe one of these is what you want to choose today. And also maybe you have the free monthly mindset and life coaching calendar that I send out every month. And there's like a little checkbox at the top that you can use for your one thing. So if you have the calendar, you know what I'm talking about. You get a PDF calendar and there's something to click on, whether a podcast to listen to, a journal entry. There's like a little daily nugget to help you make progress every day. And in the top left corner, there's a little checkbox. And the checkbox is for your one thing. So you can choose whatever that is. It could be like, getting in enough water or steps or taking your supplements or reading. That's the one I'm doing this month is reading. But yours could also be, taking a moment to either set the intention in the morning for the words I want to use and like just checking yourself for a moment and going into the day with intention. Or you could also use the checkbox to say like at the end of the night, I'm going to think about moments I could have reflected on, or I could have done better. Or maybe as you're reflecting, you notice your word choice and you're like, yeah, instead of normally saying, today's so frustrating and everyone didn't do what they were supposed to. It's like, no, today was really great because I got an opportunity to grow and really strengthen my skills on the job today. So you can kind of reframe your words a little bit too in the evening. So maybe that little checkbox there is like a morning, let's go, let's prepare, or an evening recap. And I say or because I want that box just to be easy, right? I don't want you to be like, okay, I have to do something in the morning and then I have to do something in the evening in order to check it off. I think just the easier, lower hanging the fruit that is to check off that box, the better. So I hope you enjoyed this quick episode, reframing your words, shifting it just a little bit, and see what's different now. See how you feel using different words. See what happens in your body. See what you hear differently. See what you see differently. When we choose different words, we actually choose a different reality. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, give us a review. This really helps a lot. And share this with a friend. I'm only one person, and with your help, we can really spread the message of self-love and sweat and change more lives all around the world. I'm Lunden Souza, reminding you that you deserve a life full of passion, presence, and purpose, fueled by self-love and sweat. This podcast is a Hit Spot Austria production.